Okay, so let's tackle a word that can feel, well, both really inspiring and, if we're honest, kind of intimidating. Holiness. You see it all over the Bible. But what does it actually mean for us today? Let's dive in and figure it out.
I mean, it doesn't get much more direct than this, right? This command shows up in both the Old and New Testaments, and it's this central call from God to his people. Be holy because I am holy. It's just a really powerful, absolute statement.
And hearing that, the immediate question that pops into most of our heads is this one. Does being holy mean you can never, ever make a mistake? That you have to reach some kind of flawless religious perfection? It feels like a totally impossible standard. But what if we've been looking at it all wrong?
To really get this, we've got to shift our focus. See, the conversation about holiness, it doesn't actually start with us. It doesn't start with our effort or our ability to be good. It all starts with the very nature of God himself.
This right here is one of the most foundational descriptions of God in the entire Bible. The prophet Isaiah has this vision of God's throne room, and this is what the angels are crying out. Not loving, 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 or powerful, 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 but holy, holy, holy. That tells you something absolutely crucial about what's at the very center of God's being.
So here's the main point. Holiness isn't just one of God's character traits, like on a list. It's his essential nature. It means he is completely pure, totally righteous, and just fundamentally separate from all sin and evil. It's the very fabric of who he is. And that brings us right back to that command. See, God's call for us to be holy isn't some random rule he made up. It's an invitation to reflect his own character. So, the big question is still on the table. How is that even possible? All right, this is where we get to the heart of it. We're about to totally reframe what this word means, stepping away from that common misunderstanding and getting to its true biblical definition.
A lot of the time, the biggest truths are just hiding in simple definitions. The key to unlocking this whole concept is right there in the original Hebrew and Greek words that get translated as holy.
And there it is. This is the aha moment. To be holy doesn't primarily mean to be perfect. It means to be set apart. It means being different, distinct, separated from what's ordinary, and dedicated for a special divine purpose. This is where it all clicks into place. The misconception sees holiness as this impossible mountain to climb, this constant struggle for perfection. But the real biblical meaning, it's not about performance at all. It's about identity. It's a huge shift from what we do to who we are. This verse just perfectly illustrates the action behind being set apart. It's a call to live differently, differently from the patterns of the world, to make choices in how we think, how we talk, and how we act that show we belong to God.
Okay, so if holiness means being set apart, that still leaves a pretty big question, doesn't it? How on earth do we do that? If we can't get there by just trying harder to be perfect, what's the actual mechanism that makes it possible?
So, first things first, this is not a self-help project. The Bible is super clear on this. We can't make ourselves holy just through sheer grit or by following a bunch of rules. Our own effort is always going to fall short.
So how does it work then? Well, the path to holiness is really a three-step process. It starts with admitting that, hey, we can't do this on our own. Then, step 2 is understanding what Christ has already done for us. And the last step is relying on the power God gives us to actually live it out. This verse is the key to that second step. Through our relationship with Jesus, believers are just given a holy status. That word sanctification, it comes from the exact same root as holy. It means that in God's eyes, because of what Christ did, we're already declared set apart. Our whole identity has changed.
And this covers step 3. We're not just left on our own to figure it out. The Bible teaches that God's Spirit is actively working inside believers, giving them both the desire, the will, and the power, the to-do, to live in a way that pleases Him. It's like a divine partnership. So let's bring all this home. We've redefined holiness, we understand where it comes from, and we've seen how it works. So what's the big takeaway for you and me right now?
Look, if you remember anything from all this, let it be these 4 things. Holiness begins with God. It means being set apart, not perfect. It's a result of your relationship with Him, not a test you have to pass to earn it. And It's a transformation He empowers, not one you have to achieve by yourself.
So that command we started with, the one that sounded so intimidating, it's not a burden designed to crush us. It's actually an empowering invitation. It's basically God saying, hey, I've already set you apart. I've already made you mine. Now go live in a way that reflects that amazing reality.
And that really just leaves us with one final thought. If we move past this idea of having to be perfect, what would it actually look like for you, at your job, with your family, in your own private thoughts, to be truly set apart for God? What's one small choice you could make today that would reflect that new identity? Something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me.